Hey guys, this is Tom Box in Master Duel. Welcome to MST.TV. In today's video, I'm going to answer one of the most frequently asked questions, which is how to get the ultra rares that you want as quickly as possible in Master Duel. And I've only been playing the game for since yesterday, so less than a day, and I kind of already completed my deck, got my ultra rares in the most free-to-play manner possible by using all of the gems and all the other mechanics available in the game. And so I'm going to be sharing with you guys the best possible route of getting your ultra rares and how to spend your gems and your ultra rare CPs so that you can get the best bang for your buck. This is going to be especially useful for those of you guys who want to be free to play, F to P, and I'm also going to share with you guys the most effective sequence of getting the ultra rares, because there's certain ultra rares that you should probably prioritize later on so that it's going to be even more effective when you do acquire them. Otherwise, they all kind of require ultra rares to kind of pair with them, and it's just not really going to be worth it. If you want to be winning early on, then you have to prioritize different things. And one other key note is that because Master Duel is currently a best of one game, there's a different way that you should be approaching this, because you're not guaranteed to go first or second, so you kind of have to plan for both. Now, in the first part of this video, we're going to talk about getting the staples, and then later on we'll talk more about getting the archetype specific stuff and tips and tricks of how to get the ones that you want. And with a deck requiring minimum of 40 cards, typically 20 to 25 cards are part of an archetype, and the other 10 to 15 or 20 cards, they are going to be staple fillers. And unfortunately, if you want to play the best staple fillers in the game, they're all pretty high rarity, so you got to make sure that you're getting the best bang for your buck with your CP and gems. And that's what I'm going to be talking about here today. So make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button, hit subscribe, and ding that notification bell, because I even got one for you free-to-play players about some of the best and easy rares that you should be putting in your deck to crush some of the top-tier opponents that you're going to be facing in ranked duels. Card number one in our ultra rare pool has got to be Call by the Grave, even before Max C, because Call by the Grave, in my opinion, stops your opponent from hurting you with cards like Maxi and all the forms of monster-based hand traps that they can use to stun you out or gain a ton of advantage against you. And going first or second, being a game of best of one, you need cards that can go first or second to really help you win the game. And Call by the Grave is definitely one of those cards, being able to stop any Grave synergy and hand traps, and that's why it's spot number one. And you need to craft 2 of them, or you can be lucky and pull them from the Master Pack. Unfortunately, it only comes out of the Master Pack as of right now. Maybe in the future there's going to be like a hand trap set, like a Duel Devastator in the Master Duel, but right now that's not exactly something that's been announced, so we're just going to have to get lucky and pull it or craft it using the crafting points. A total of 60 is required. For every ultra rare that you want to craft, it's going to cost you 30 ultra rare crafting points, and when you disenchant a card or you dismantle a card, it only generates 10 per ultra rare. So that's the math behind it. Next, we have Max C as our card number 2, a really powerful monster that we wish was in the TCG. At least some of us wish it was in the TCG, but it is a great deterrent. I think in a best of one format, this is good. This is actually really good in the best of one format, because that's how the game of Master Duel is played right now. And for every single special summon that your opponent performs, you get to draw 1 card after this card has resolved. So if your opponent is going to chain a ton of summons, it's a big deterrent of whether or not they want to take that Max C challenge of giving you a ton of cards, which potentially can kill them the turn after. In regard to that, I would say, yeah, Maxi is an instant 3F that you should be acquiring. Unfortunately, it also only comes out of the Master Pack, so if you get lucky and pull one, that's really, really good. Probably one of the best pulls you can get out of the Master Pack. But in any case, you're going to need a total of 90 crafting points to acquire 3 copies of this, and I do recommend playing in 3 copies. So if you have like the 2 of the Call by the Grave, 3 of the Maxi, that's already 5 cards to fill into the extra spots in your deck. Card number 3 is going to be Ash Blossom Joyous Spring. This one also comes out in the Master Pack like every other card in the game, but there's more. There's another way of acquiring this, which is in the bundle. If you spend 700 gems, I believe, you get about 10 packs and a guaranteed Ash Blossom Joyous Spring, which you cannot dismantle. And this is going to be a very key card because it stops your opponents from using anything in their deck, per se. Except for banishing. They can banish from the deck, but they can't special summon, add, or basically stuff that involves the deck to search it out you can use an Ash Blossom and Joy Spring to stop it, including drawing cards, which means it stops cards like Max C. So the first 3 cards I'm suggesting already kind of counteract with each other, and they are like a solid interaction. But Ash Blossom being able to stop like main deck based strategies that have searching, stopping Max C, that's why Ash Blossom takes our number 3 slot. You need to craft 2 of these or get lucky and pull, so this is another 60 crafting points, which is basically another 6 ultra rares that you're gonna have to disenchant to acquire. Card number 4 to acquire is a negation based card. It's Forbidden Droplets. This is one of the more important cards, I would say, that helped me win a lot of games really early on. More important than Imperm, because if you face off against a Drytron opponent, they're probably going to play Herald of Ultimateness, and your Imperm is going to feel pretty stupid. Because if they play through your Imperm, I guess Droplet is really the only way you have out, unless you main deck Dark Ruler no more. And if you don't, that Herald of Ultimateness will crush you. We're playing in a format with 2 Eva, which means 6 negations. That's 1 negation for each of your cards in your hand. That's not exactly good odds for you, so having something that makes your opponent not able to respond and able to negate multiple cards, like what if they leave an IP on the board? What if they have an Appaloosa also follow it up with that? I don't think you want to need 2 Imperms to kind of clear the board. It's not going to work in your favor. Trust me, Droplet is probably the better way to go, especially in a case of best of 1. What are you going to do? Side deck into this? You can't side deck. Might as well just have it ready. Go first. You can set the card just like Imperm. Sure, you have to send cards to the graveyard to activate this card, but it's that no response in reaction to this card that makes this card better than Imperm in case of a best of 1. Now the next card after that is Infinite Impermanence. It's just a 1-for-1 negation. In case you can't get this, I have a different list for rare cards that you can acquire to kind of supplement while you are waiting to acquire some of these ultras. That's going to be in a different video, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you guys subscribe. I've been digging through the card list, and there's just a lot of them that are super fascinating that you can use just to play really competitively at a very, very cheap, I guess, gem cost overall. But Infinite Impermanence, again, this one, Master Pack only. I think Konami decided to make most of the staple cards Master Pack only, but make sure you do check how to obtain, just so that you make sure that the card is obtainable through another means before you kind of start gambling on packs. Because otherwise, if most of them are only acquirable through the Master Pack, you're kind of more likely going to be using your ultra rare crafting points to generate these cards. The next card after that is, we're going to be looking into the extra deck, and that's got to be either the Axis Code Talker or Boral Sword Dragon. You need something to close the game, and these 2 are some of the best closers in the entire game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Boral Sword simply being able to generate 6,000 damage or more, so pairing Boral Sword with a 2,000 attacker, you're kind of guaranteed to win that duel with 8,000 damage OTK. Access Code being able to similarly generate a huge bunch of attack and then break the entire board without giving your opponents a chance for response. Another fantastic card to break something. Luckily for you guys, both Access Code and Boral Sword are acquirable through another pack. I believe the Access Code Talker has his own pack, and that's going to be filled with a lot of the cyber support, and the Boral Sword is actually the easiest to acquire using gems. You should not be crafting the Boral Sword Dragon while the Stalwart Force is still available for you guys to purchase, because it is I think it's a 60 card pool in that pack, and it is one of the ultra rares. If you go play the 1,000 gems onto it, and you're guaranteed a super rare or more. If you do fail on getting a single ultra rare, luckily Konami included a pity bonus for us. If you do not pull a single ultra rare out of your 10 packs, you're guaranteed an ultra rare in the next 10 pulls you do, which is really nice. That pity mechanic helped me acquire my Boral Sword really quickly, and that's really helpful, especially when the pity mechanic works for all the other packs as well, just in case you don't get something. So it's easy. If you want to be budget, go for the Boral Sword. Very powerful card. If you're not budget and you feel like kind of splurging a little bit, then card number 6 should be Axis Code Talker, because it's just one of the best monsters in the entire game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Card number 7 is Terraforming. If your deck requires any form of field spell searching, get the Terraforming, because Terraforming is able to search for any of your field spell, and the field spells are very powerful. They are some of the starting search synergy of some decks, and it works for all decks. It's a generic staple. It's limited to one. It's 30 crafting points. Just get it out of the way so that you can have a terraforming in your deck. And that fills for another spot in your deck. Now we're going to go into some of the more choice-based ones. I think you should at least get one copy of Nibiru, the Primal Being, because a lot of people are playing combo-based. If you max seed into Nibiru, your opponent is going to feel super salty. They might just surrender on the spot because I only made one Nibiru personally, but remember to check how to obtain, because Nibiru can be acquired from the interdimensional invaders or something like that, one of the alien packs, because I guess it's the stuff coming from outer space. And you can definitely use the secret pack and just go at the secret packs to get the Nibiru, and then you're more likely to get it through just using gems. So I don't recommend crafting the Nibiru. You should probably just use your gems to acquire it in that sense. Finally, we're looking at Crossout Designator. I put this as one of the last priorities personally, because if you don't have the Veilers, you don't have the Maxis, you don't have the Ash Blossoms, what are you using Crossout Designator for anyway? And it's exactly that. There's no point, because Crossout Designator doesn't stop anything from your opponent unless they can match your deck. This is a card you should only bother trying to acquire probably closer to like Gold 1 or Plat 5 and onwards, because then you can be more sure of what's in the card pool, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, well, this card you're taking a bit of a gamble, which is why I think Crossout Designator is personally one of my last priorities in terms of Ultras. I haven't even bothered getting it at this current moment because Droplet just simply does a better job. Droplet, Maxi, Ash, they are just better in general. And as for additional cards I kind of want to mention, don't forget to acquire your Solemn Strikes, because in a best of one, if you go for a Solemn Strike, it will kill your opponent. It is so hard to break. Not everyone's running a lot of back row removal, even though in a best of one, you should at least include 1 or 2 copies of something to remove back row. And if you're really going for the cheese, go for the Imperial Order. That's like, these are extra cards that you can consider. But if you don't want to use, like, say, Solemn Strike, you can definitely use something else, like Solemn Warning, if you want to be a little bit cheaper. But those are the, like, generic ultra rare staples I would recommend for everyone to start off their game, because they can fill the 20 slots of cards that you need, because the rest of the deck was cheap. But unfortunately, the staples, they were a bit pricey. Now, crafting is not only great for unlocking the card itself, but it also sometimes unlocks a specific secret pack. What I mean by that is looking at Prank Kids, and here there's like Prank Kids Battle Butler, that's an ultra rare, there's Prank Kid Place, but all of these cards, they're either in the master pack or they're in this currently locked pack, the secret pack of Prank Panic. And what I need to do here is I need to unlock it. There's 2 ways to unlock it. One is to pull it through any pack. You pull a card that's in that particular secret pack that is a super rare or higher, you will be able to unlock it. The second way to unlock it is much more effective and a bit more guaranteed, and that is to craft it using your crafting points. If you craft the ultra rare or you craft the super rare that's part of the set, you will get the pack unlocked. And not only that, because you crafted it, you get the first pack free. The first pack is free. I'm gonna do it with the example of this Solemn Warning. Solemn cards are actually available in the Pathshaft lineup, so I'm gonna check on how to obtain the Solemn Warning, and it's like, oh, it's part of the Guardians of the Sacred Sky. I'm gonna craft one with super rare, so here we go. Craft one. I'm gonna generate it. I got a glossy finish, and see here up top there is now a notification with a key, and I'm gonna go take a look. It says I have 1 free pull. And once I pull it, I'll purchase, get a pack, open it up. Oh, what did I get? Okay, so you get your first pack, that's basically free. Okay, so now that I have this is now unlocked, and now you can go into it. Now, I want to be specific to you guys. Some of you guys are confused because Yu-Gi-Oh players, we don't read cards. 4 out of the 8 cards per pack are guaranteed to be within the feature. So cards included in this pack, of course, this is the master pack, but the feature cards, 4 of them will be pulled from this particular pool. The other 4 are likely to be from the entire 6,750 cards in the entire master pool. That's how I actually pulled one of my Max C's, is through pulling these secret packs, because it's 4 and 4, right guys? 4 of the cards will be from the feature, which is why you're more likely to pull an ultra rare. If you pulled an ultra from the featured side, then it's more likely to be the ultra rare that you're seeking, and it just makes your odds so much better when you're pulling 10 at once. And I do recommend pulling 10 at once rather than going 1 at a time. And that's how you should get your ultra rares. You really shouldn't be crafting them unless you really need it, or maybe your 10 packs somehow they're all missing. But if you get 3 ultra rares that are what you want, maybe you should be crafting for something else, because you should probably be crafting for some of the more staple cards unless it's really essential that you play with those cards. And that's all I got for this video, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, smash that thumbs up button, and make sure you guys stay tuned for the next coming video where I talk about all of the really good rare cards you can acquire that's super cheap. This is especially useful for all the free-to-play players because, let's face it, you're going to have a ton of rare CP, and crafting all of these is going to cost you close to nothing. And you'll be able to compete with some of the best decks out there thanks to these cards. So make sure you guys hit subscribe for that. And, well, I guess I'll see you guys on stream, and I'll see you guys on the next one.